Whoop. I'm going to do the proper one. Woo! It's football! Right, today I'm just going to really briefly and quickly talk to you guys about something a little bit different. So I guess this segment is probably called Rant of the Week because I just saw something which is absolutely and completely stupid. Well, I saw it yesterday and I've waited and mulled it over and stewed on it all night, and I thought I just got to talk about this to someone. It's ridiculous. So if you go onto your home screen on your fantasy app or website, whatever you want to use, and just have a look down to week 6 fantasy trades. This is ridiculous. So bear in mind, this guy actually gets paid money to do this research and to write this baloney for us to read and gobble up. I don't know. Anyway, his name is Jason B. Hirschhorn. So he's a fantasy editor, blah, 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 does all of this for a living, obviously. And he's covered people to trade for, which in all fairness he's gone very safe. Like DeAndre Hopkins, you'd want to trade for him because if you look at that Texans team and what their offense is doing at the moment, it's pretty nuts. And if you think about the production Hopkins has had over the last sort of however many seasons, he's obviously you want to trade for him. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. So fair play to Nat for keeping hold of him and shoving me Juju Smith-Schuster instead. Not that I'm complaining. I love Juju. He's a great player as well. The other one he's gone for is Tyler Boyd, and he's had a pretty monster season so far, really, in terms of maybe not production value, but fantasy value definitely. Because although the Bengals aren't performing, he's coming up with some decent points. So again, Tay doing a good trade there for Boyd. So okay, yeah, apparently he's one to trade in as well. And he says about trading for Odell Beckham Jr. on the basis that fantasy owners might be freaking out that his production isn't that high. But to be fair, if you've got Odell in your team, you probably got him in your team because you absolutely love him. So you like Tay, you got a massive man crush on him, and you're going to keep him in the team no matter what because he's elite, even if he's got Baker Mayfield thrown to him, who's not on form at the moment. But you'd think the Browns are going to come good at some point. So again, I think it's all fairly obvious trade-ins. The two that stuck out to me really were his trade-aways, because he's saying to trade away Terry McLaurin. And you might think, well, okay, you might have like a fair shout there, but he's going on the basis that their offensive line coach, Bill Callahan, being in that interim role of head coach, he's already said that he wants to shift the offense towards the ground game. Okay, so that's fair enough. So if you got Chris Thompson like Headley, obviously that's good news for you. But if you think about that Redskins team in general and their offense, who else have they got apart from Terry McLaurin? And if you go over his fantasy stats, okay, he's had a couple quiet weeks, but he had a niggle before the game against the Giants, and I don't know if he played at all actually that game, scored nothing. And the last game he's just come off, so he's come off the back of a niggle or a slight injury anyway, and they played the Patriots. He got 8 points, but apart from that, those are the only blips in his first 6 weeks. So I don't know, maybe jumping the gun a little bit there, trading him away. I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and feel free to comment and slag me off on the group chat, because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. But yeah, I find that pretty crazy. The biggest one for me, and it's probably because I have this player on my team, but he's saying to trade away Le'Veon Bell. Okay, now I'm going to just read to you what he said. So this is all his words. He says, obviously, Le'Veon Bell's first season in New York hasn't gone as well as he or the team had hoped. In 4 games, Bell has only amassed 372 yards from scrimmage and 3.8 yards per touch, reaching the end zone just once. Okay, so kind of fair, apart from the yardage, I'll come back to that. In terms of fantasy output, he barely ranks inside the top 20 at his position. Still, the situation could grow worse with the Patriots and their number 1 ranked defense coming into town. Okay, well, we're talking about week 6 here. This is the title of this column, week 6 fantasy trade calls. Jets aren't playing the Patriots. Patriots are playing the Giants, so he's already got that wrong, the flipping idiot. He also said Bell's only amassed 372 yards from scrimmage. He's only played 4 games for the Jets with a really bad offensive line, and he's still almost averaged 100 yards a game. So you think 100 yards a game, that's 10 points, plus receptions. he's getting receptions. Like, his average points are actually really good. And then he says he barely ranks inside the top 20. This is where I find it really funny, because obviously Jets have just come off the back of a bye week, so he's only played 4 games in terms of most other running backs in front of him playing 5 games. Okay, so now correct me if I'm wrong, but would you say sort of 10 to 15 points is a massively high score to catch up? I personally don't think it is. And I mean, you've got people or players like McCaffrey just absolutely demolishing the league, and I'm just pulling up his stats now just so I can be sort of as factual as possible about this. So McCaffrey for the season is on 156, so best running back in the league at the moment. So, but I'm just going to go through the top 5. So we got McCaffrey, Eckler, Cook, Aaron Jones, and Nick Chubb. So we've got McCaffrey on 156. Eckler, he's probably going to be limited now Melvin Gordon's back, but he's had a monster first 5 weeks at least. 4-5 weeks. He's on 124. Dalvin Cook is on 121. Aaron Jones on 109, and Nick Chubb on 95. All those players have had fairly nice matchups and had monster games to bump their scores up. So bear in mind, Nick Chubb's in 5th at the moment. We go all the way down to 10th then, and Ezekiel Elliott's 14 points behind Nick Chubb. So Ezekiel Elliott, one of probably people's top 4 draft picks across every league, basically. So he's going in the first sort of 4 or 5 picks in most people's leagues. I'd say in the 90%. So he's in 10th on 81 points. Okay, so then you go all the way down to 17th, where Le'Veon Bell is. He's on 67 points, having played a game less. So you think, well, if he scores 14 points against the Cowboys, which is doable, because Nick Chubb's just ripped them a new one last week, is it worth trading him away at this point? The Jets have had really difficult opening games as well. So they played the Patriots. I know they play the Patriots again, but you just have to roll the dice on that. And they've played the Bills. Obviously, Eagles' defence, you could argue, are okay, enough to sort of stop him a little bit. At least they're ranked 5th against running backs, and he still scored 15 points against them. But if you look, after week 7... the Jets have a monster run of easy games, basically. So they've got the Jags, Dolphins, the Giants, and Redskins. Why would you trade away a player who's got 4 really, really easy matchups? It baffles me. I said this was going to be short, and it's not. It's almost 8 minutes of one big fat rant, so I'm really sorry about that. But if you want to slate my opinion on that, then that's cool. That's kind of why I did it, because I wanted to see what you guys think as well. But yeah, thanks for listening. I mean, it's been rubbish. I've enjoyed it because I've been able to vent, and now it's off my mind, off my chest. I can go out, have a curry, have a pint, and have a good night. So yeah, cheers boys, thanks for listening. And if you got to the end of it and thought, what the hell is this guy on about, well, the main point of this is a fantasy expert getting paid money to do this, and he's got it all wrong.